This is Lesotho, an independent state completely surrounded by the Republic of South Africa. The Parliament is the supreme legislative body of the Kingdom of Lesotho. The Parliament of the Kingdom of Lesotho was established under Section 54 of the Constitution of Lesotho. In terms of this section, the Parliament of the Kingdom of Lesotho consists of the King, the Senate, and the National Assembly. Lesotho is a constitutional monarchy. His Majesty the King is the head of state. The King performs a number of parliamentary functions. The King summons Parliament. The King officiates at the state opening of Parliament. At the official opening of Parliament, the King delivers the speech from the throne outlining government policies and the legislative program. The King prorogues and dissolves Parliament on the advice of the Prime Minister. The King gives royal assent to bills passed by the two houses of Parliament.
Honorable members, Mr. President.
The Senate is the second chamber in Lesotho's bicameral parliament. The Senate is made up of 22 principal chiefs and 11 senators nominated by the King on the advice of the Council of State. The primary constitutional role of the Senate is to examine and review draft legislation and bills passed. The draft legislation and bills passed are referred to the Senate by the National Assembly. In terms of Section 78, subsection 2 of the Constitution of Lesotho, the Senate does not have the powers to initiate legislation. All bills have to originate in the National Assembly. Another key function of the Senate is that of oversight over the executive. The Senate has limited powers. Senators scrutinize appropriation of public funds, and they are traditional representatives of the citizens of the country. The traditional chief system is active in governance at a local level. The National Assembly of Lesotho is composed of 120 elected members. 80 of these members are directly elected from constituencies, and 40 become members through proportional representation list, which is submitted by political parties to the Independent Electoral Commission. Section 70 of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Lesotho vests the power to make laws in Parliament. The functions of the National Assembly include making laws, oversight, that is, monitoring government spending and holding the executive to account for its actions through motions and parliamentary questions, budget appropriation. This means that the National Assembly is responsible for allocating funds to government ministries and departments. Representation. This means that the National Assembly is responsible for voicing the views and interests of the public in the House. Advocacy is also a function of the National Assembly. After the King has summoned the two houses of Parliament, the first sitting of the two houses convenes on separate days. The key business is to elect the presiding officers and the swearing in of members of the House. Each house elects its own presiding officers, who are responsible for chairing the proceedings and maintaining order in the House. They also represent the House at official functions and attend international as well as regional conferences, meetings and workshops on behalf of the House. The Speaker's chair overlooks the entire National Assembly. The sitting plan is almost U-shaped. The government side sits on the right of the Speaker, with the Prime Minister and Cabinet occupying the front benches. The other members of the ruling party occupy the back benches of the same side. This seating plan is mirrored by the main opposition party with its leader and shadow cabinet on the left of the Speaker. Independent members and members of other parties who do not belong to the government nor the main opposition sit on the cross benches. Legislative power in Lesotho lies with the National Assembly. In order for a bill to become law, it has to go through 3 stages called readings in parliamentary language. The first stage is called first reading. During the first reading of the bill, the minister presenting the bill gives notice thereof. On the day of presentation of the bill, the Speaker would call the member or minister responsible to rise and present the bill. Thereafter, the clerk would read the short and long titles of the bill. The bill is then referred to the relevant portfolio committee. No debate is allowed during the first reading of the bill. At this stage, the process involves publication and distribution of the bill to all members. When considering a bill, the Portfolio Committee has the power to invite the member or minister responsible and the officials of the ministry, in the case of a minister, to explain the policy principles and financial implications of such a bill. The Portfolio Committee also has the power to invite public input and to seek expert advice. And if necessary, the Portfolio Committee may make amendments to the text of the bill. As soon as the Portfolio Committee has finalized its deliberations on the bill, it adopts a report which is presented in the House for adoption. Following the adoption of the report, the House moves to the second reading of the bill. Members' debates are confined to the general principles and merits of the bill. At this stage, the only amendment that can be proposed to the motion is that opposing the second reading of the bill. A member may also move that the bill be not debated further, but referred back to the Portfolio Committee for further consideration. When a motion for the second reading has been agreed to, the bill is considered by the Committee of the Whole House. This is called the committee stage. At this stage, the Speaker moves from his chair to the table and becomes the chairperson of Committee of the Whole House. The Sergeant-at-Arms moves the mace from its stand to underneath the table. The Committee of the Whole House considers the bill clause by clause, consider amendments made by the Portfolio Committee, and if necessary, propose new amendments. After the bill has been considered by the Committee of the Whole House, the House resumes and the Speaker returns to his chair and reports the bill to the House as amended or not amended, as the case may be. motion that the bill be read the third time and do pass, members debate the contents of the bill, and no amendment can be made at this stage except for minor corrections. When a motion for third reading of a bill has been agreed to, the Clerk of the National Assembly forwards the bill to the Clerk of the Senate together with a message desiring the royal assent. The King gives royal assent to bills passed by the two houses of Parliament. A bill is said to be given royal assent when it is signed by the King to approve its enactment. When the process of consolidating all ministerial estimates has been concluded at the National Treasury, the Minister of Finance moves the motion requesting the House to approve the estimates and makes a speech, the budget speech. The budget speech outlines details of the government fiscal policy for the year. During the budget speech, copies of the budget speech and estimates are distributed to the members, and thereafter the estimates stand referred to the Portfolio Committee on the Economic and Development Cluster for consideration. Thereafter, the budget estimates are considered through the same stages as that of a bill, except that in the Committee of the Whole House, the committee considers each head of expenditure, government ministry or department as if they were a clause of a bill. Oversight on the executive is a complex process undertaken by the House. It involves intricate processes of holding the government to account on its acts of commission and omission. This is exercised through parliamentary committees, and this is where most of the parliamentary work takes place. The National Assembly currently exercises its oversight function through various committees which include Portfolio Committee on the Social Cluster, Portfolio Committee on the Economic and Development Cluster, Portfolio Committee on Law and Public Safety Cluster, Portfolio Committee on Natural Resources, Tourism and Land Cluster, Portfolio Committee on the Prime Minister's Ministries and Departments Cluster, Sessional Select Committee on the Public Accounts, Sessional Select Committee on the HIV and AIDS, as well as through ad hoc committees that may be established from time to time. Once elected, a Member of Parliament serves the House for a term of 5 years. No member of the National Assembly can participate in its deliberations without first taking the oath of allegiance. After taking the oath of allegiance, the title of Honourable is bestowed upon the member. In accordance with the standing orders, the National Assembly sits from Mondays to Thursdays from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. In accordance with the standing orders, the Senate sits from Tuesdays to Thursdays commencing at 10 a.m. every week.